Hi everyone, I'm Ewelina, I'm Android developer. I'm working on mobile apps for 7 years. Right now I'm working for Stethoscope for 3 years. In my work, I like to create products that truly help people, so I'm not only focusing on resolving algorithm problems and functional problems, but also people's problems. That connects me with my passion to, additional passion to user experience and also accessibility. And I'm also a mental health and work-life balance advocate. You guys are at the beginning on your career, as I may say, but I think it's really important to keeping in your mind that our mental health, our work-life balance is really important. So let's jump to the agenda today. Today I want to, firstly I want to introduce you to the Stethoscope, because this is the stethoscope that is in our presentation title. Then I will give you a short overview of Bluetooth Low Energy. Then I will show you some problem that I encountered during my work. We will investigate what was behind this problem. We will be looking for the solution. And I will just give you what I have learned during this whole big adventure. So right now I have one small question to you guys. How many of you are developers or mobile developers maybe? Just raise your hands. Oh, nice. How many of you was working with Bluetooth Low Energy or any kind of Bluetooth? Okay, yes. And maybe there are someone with the medical background here because it's the healthcare product. Oh, great. Yeah, nice. Okay, so or maybe, does anyone was here about Stethoscope? Do you know something about it? No, and so I think that no one uses it. Okay, so this is Stethoscope. Stethoscope is the Polish startup, and particularly this is the first system that detects abnormal sounds from the respiratory system. In general, there is the device, the stethoscope, exactly the same like our doctors using, and it's being connected with a mobile phone via Bluetooth Low Energy. It records respiratory sounds. We are receiving the results of our auscultation immediately in the application, and we are able to share the result with our doctor. This is how it looks like from the application side. We are able to just put this stethoscope to our body and perform the examination, and we have the results. So do you have maybe any idea what may connect this system, if you know how it looks like, with the baby monitor? Who knows?
Well, probably because it's streaming some data to your mobile phone.
Yes.
So they may share the same code, actually, the same code base.
Okay. I will answer you, but you are near to the answer, but I will answer in the end of the presentation. So, really fast overview for the Bluetooth Low Energy. I don't want to go into details about the Bluetooth because we need to perform the whole presentation about Bluetooth, and it wouldn't be enough. So a few things about Bluetooth Energy. Bluetooth Energy was created because of lower power consumption to make device working longer. When we working with the Bluetooth Low Energy device, the normal pairing from the device settings is not required, and the Bluetooth Low Energy uses exactly the same frequency as the normal Bluetooth. When it comes to Android, I will show you overall flow, how this process looks like. It's much deeper, but it's only overview. So when we start, we will go to the application, and we need to ask for the permission to use to connect with the device. And the fun is beginning right now because there was a major changes in the Android SDK. So since Android 12, we have new permission which are shown to the user as NRB devices. Before we needed access to our location to connect to the device. There is also more permissions required, but really follow the documentation because it all depends on our use case. When you want to scan, only scan to find the devices, the Bluetooth scan permission is required. We want to connect, there's a Bluetooth connect. If we use the Bluetooth for location, we need to add access fine location, but if not, we need to also say that we will never use it for location. There's another flag. So always please jump to the documentation. When we have this permission, we are presenting it to the user, but sometimes user may say, okay, we don't want to give you this permission, so we need to handle this. When we explain user why need this permission, we will receive these permissions. Now we need to check if the Bluetooth is available. Why? Because when we try to perform the scanning without checking if that Bluetooth is available, we will just the scanning results will be null. Of course, when users say again no, we need to. If the Bluetooth is not on, we need to ask user for turning on. Whenever every condition was okay, right now we are able to scan for NRB devices. And right now we need to take into account that we shouldn't scan for so long because of draining battery. So we are responsible for decide how long we will be looking for the devices. Of course, when device won't be found, we need to show it to the user. And right now, when everything condition was okay, when we find some device, we are able to connect to the GATT server. And a few words about this GATT server. What is it? The GATT server is GATT is an acronym of generic attribute profile. When we speaking that we are connecting to some peripheral Bluetooth low energy device, we are connecting to the GATT server which is running on this device. This term is not connecting with Android itself, it's connecting with Bluetooth. So again, just jump to the documentation to give you a really overview about this term. It defines how two Bluetooth low energy devices will communicate with each other, and then they came to concepts like services and characteristics. And there's also a lot of more things that you need to take into account, but again, please go to the documentation. And when the connection is established, the transfer data could be we are ready to start the transfer from one side to the other. Two devices may play two roles. One could be server, another could be client, and we are able also to swap this communication. For example, when we want to set the display on this peripheral device, we are just sending the GET request to this device. When we want to collect the sound from the stethoscope, we are listening on the GET callback. Everything is in the documentation, and implementation is more complicated to this one slide. So I will give you only the overview of this problem. And one very important thing which we should be aware of when we working with the Bluetooth device we are using the Bluetooth low energy device is that this connection is inclusive. What does it mean? When our phone is connected to this peripheral device, this peripheral device isn't able to advertise itself. So when my phone is connected with the stethoscope, your phone cannot find the stethoscope unless my phone will break the connection with the stethoscope. Okay, so this was the hardest part, but we want to record the sound. So how does it look? We have the stethoscope, this one, and we have the phone. When we touch when we touch the stethoscope to the body, the data transfer is begin. When all data are collected by the device, the phone starting decoding this data and saving them, checking if they are correct, and then the results it's sending to our AI. So what do you think? What can go wrong in this very simple process? Any ideas here?
What about interference when the data is transferred?
You saw my presentation.
That was the first idea.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point. It could be that could be the problems. Any ideas more?
Faulty AI, for example, the lack of data and the need to somehow get it to train the AI first.
Okay. Yes. This could be also the problem. So, as we heard before, our reported issue was also about transmission problem, interfering the data. One client came back to us and said that it's not able at all to perform one-point recording. It was really strange because, some interruption may occur, but no, we have tested the device and so on, and it's not possible that could be the person who cannot perform one-point auscultation. So, of course, the first idea was that this is a problem with our device. This is our device, so we need to check it. We replace it, and the device was okay. Another device also has the same problem. So I've checked our logs, and what I found that when we have two stethoscope and phone and our diagram, that some discontinuity in this data occurs. And it looks like here. Doesn't playing? Let's see if they're working or not. I want to check. Okay. If you see, the recording is in progress, and then it will be broken. And sometime, and again, and again. And it looks like that. So what do you think? Is this interruption in general good or bad?
Interruptions in the data transfer?
Yes.
Yeah, of course it is bad.
Not really. Sometimes not, because as I've already said, we have the AI behind. And we need the continuous signal to our AI to make the analysis of if something is good or not, if the person has some abnormal sounds or not. So sometimes this interruption are good because the behavior that we are resetting, dropping this data when this doesn't happen is in general good because we want to receive the continuous signal. However, there could be also another stupid idea maybe when someone performing examination and just put the stethoscope into microwave or will leave the room. So yes, this data should be dropped in general. However, the question isn't, the main question is not if this is good or bad, but the real question is why does it happen in this case? The first thing, we have two answers here. There's low quality connection, or there is the device problem itself. In general, I'm not the person that are blaming external things for my own mistakes. So firstly I jumped into low quality connection problem. And to be honest, it was a really long investigation. I'm trying to interfere the transmission. I've even used the aluminum foil. I, of course, trying to put the device near, maybe not put and turn on the microwave, but I was, walking next to the microwave. and leaving the room while I was performing the examination. And the one thing that I discovered that our Bluetooth is really, really good, and it's really hard to do something that is behaving, that's acting like user observe. But there I also discover another thing. There's really a lot of devices in our surrounding which are working on 2.4 frequency. For example, Wi-Fi, microwaves, our smartwatches, or Zigbee, when someone has the internet, some smart home and has some, buttons, lamps, and so on. When I counted, I discovered that I have maybe 40 devices in my home that working on Zigbee. And also the smartphone, mouses, microphones, headphones, and there's, of course, some video streaming. But still, the stethoscope was working fine, everything was fine, so I've jumped to the device problem, because everything is working nice for me. We bought the device, and guess what? Wasn't working and was not working. What do you think?
Murphy's Law. It's not working.
Unfortunately, it's working for me. When we bought this device, I just unpacked this, performed examination, and unfortunately, everything was working. There was some small problems occurred in our office, but it wasn't so big as it was in our user. But I make a small investigation in the internet and try to find out what's the problem with this particular devices. And I find out this post in some Reddit, I think so, and the guy have similar problems with the smartwatch and with the watch or with the earphones when was using Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz. And we try, and we may say problem solved, but not so fast. It was only some, maybe it's the reason. So I tried to collect the data. And what the data, so I was putting it to the production and then collect them and find out that the 65% of our issue with this discontinuity problem is when the phone is connected to the 2.4 Wi-Fi. But when we check in more details, we may observe that there are also use cases when this problem happens when the device is not connected to this 2.4 Wi-Fi, and there are the same phone which working in different ways, and it is not only the problem of one device, because as we can see, there are more Redmi Notes, there are also some Motorola, and also Samsungs. So I started looking for solution how to solve this problem on the user side. So maybe the solution will be checking if the phone is connecting to some kind of Wi-Fi, because normally people have more than one Wi-Fi, and then we will switching it in the background. Unfortunately, it wasn't the solution because of the policy restriction. And Android, since Android 10, we are not even able to just disable Wi-Fi. So I need to find another alternative. And another problem was that we are not able to check if the user which is connected to Wi-Fi has another Wi-Fi in different frequency. So even if I would be able to switch the network, I couldn't know if it's the great idea or not. Another idea was so maybe we will just make this process a little bit longer. We will firstly save the data, record all the data, and then send it after recording. However, this is our logs from the production about sending one point to our API, and unfortunately, it's not the problem. Unfortunately for the problem, fortunately for us, it's not the problem with our backend response. It's the user problem that sending one point takes so long. And when we check this range for 25% users, we observe one thing. They are connected to Wi-Fi. I really thought that they have bad mobile data transfer, that's the reason, but no, they are connected to the Wi-Fi. And as you can see, it's only mostly it's 1 megabyte of data. It's not so long, and sometimes it's even 50 seconds. So the last solution that we go to the production was that we were checking if the phone is connected to the Wi-Fi. We also add some other condition when we are checking if the problem occurs more than n times during one examination for the particular users, because we need to be sure that this is the case that happen more often. And we are just showing the explanation of the problem to the user and believe that the user will handle it by itself. Probably it's not the best solution. However, the one who has the problem receiving the feedback, and sometimes it's all that these people need, because it's quite hard to understand about environment, about the knowledge, if he understands what does it mean Wi-Fi 2.4 or Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz. And this is how we may check the Wi-Fi, if you're curious. We are just checking the frequency of the connected network. Before Android 12, before Android 12, it was much easier because we won't just access the Wi-Fi manager, and we receive the Wi-Fi info object from Android.net Wi-Fi. And here we have the frequency. Since Android 12, this method is deprecated. The first method also required the access file location. However, as I said before, we have this permission because we already connected to the Stethoscope. Right now, we are can wait for the callback from the network callback. And this is how it looks on the production. What I've learned. Firstly, users have terrible Wi-Fi transfer, and probably it's something. Okay. Okay, thank you. And probably this is something that is not so obvious, because I have the good connection of the internet in my home, but generally it's not so obvious. Network naming could be problematic, and this is the explanation about what was happening in our office, that when I get this Redmi phone to the office, sometimes the problem occurs, sometimes not. There is some convention of naming Wi-Fi in the same name in different frequency. So we have one network 2.4, one network 5. Both of them have the same name. So our phone on our other devices see them like the same network. And we are not able to decide to which network we are connected. Probably it's nice for in many cases, because we give responsibility for connected network to the device, but when device has problem, it's not so obvious. Another thing that I've learned, that we are surrounded by the wireless devices, and I wasn't aware how many things is around me only now I have one remote control, the microphone, another microphone, stethoscope here, and so on. And working with external device required creativity, and this is something that I observed during my work many times. Right now it's a stethoscope. Before I was working with the humanoid robots, and also there was really tricky problems. And this is something that we need to take into account, that we are not only resolving problem according with the software, but also with many things. Innovation required education, and this is another thing. When you have some nice idea for changing the world, you need to understand that new things in technology need time to adopt. We need to define many times what auscultation means, what is stethoscope, how to use Wi-Fi sometimes. Our users, we have many people try to pair the device because they don't know what the Bluetooth low energy is, even if they have some other devices at home which working this way. Thank you. Audio is still a challenge, and I think it will be for some time. And we are not only talking about transferring data, but also using devices that required audio. And the last thing is that sometimes small numbers matters a lot. What I want to say by that. In IT, we tend to be surrounded by big numbers. We are saying about big data, about the huge amount of data required for our AI. We tend to say, oh, my apps has millions of downloads, and we have many users, and so on and so on. When firstly this problem came to me, and I was studying our logs, I observed that the guy that had this problem and really wanted to resolve them with this particular device was ill for cystic fibrosis. Do you know what the cystic fibrosis is? Any ideas? No. Cystic fibrosis, I didn't know about it before I was working for Stethoscope, is the terminal illness, genetic illness, which influences our lungs. People who are born with cystic fibrosis live for 20-25 years. They have problem with breathing, really big problem with the lungs, with breathing. And when try to make this auscultation, and every time this problem was interfered with something, it was my inner motivation to find out what happened to help this one particular person. And this is what I want to say, that technology should be for people and not people for technology. And I believe that as IT, we're trying to, resolving problems which are creating ourselves by creating another solutions. Like problem with interfering are because we have many devices around us which may help us with many things. Our quantum computing right now produce more problems because of problems with our security. So if you see the circle, sometimes just take into mind that we are creating technology for the people, not people are for the technology. And do you have idea? I think everyone knows what connects a stethoscope with a baby monitor.
Streaming of data, some kind of frequency.
Yeah, the frequency, it was the answer, but you are right, streaming data is also the correct answer. I have one gift for you if you are interested in AI and some kind. If you scan this code, you will be redirected to the share.stethoscope.com. There are some examples on of the auscultation, and you will here. Oh wow! Here you have a different examination, and when you choose one of the point, you will observe how some auscultation looks like. You can play the sound and find out different abnormal sounds like wheezes, raunchy, coarse crackles, and fine crackles. If you, the thing will be available for 3 days. And if you really like Stetomy or think that someone need it, I have also some discount which code for you, so you can use it. Maybe someone want to, but only if you need it. I don't want to sell this. And thank you, guys. Stay in touch with me if you want, of course, and I hope you enjoy this presentation.